Merci, merci Monsieur le Président. Je voulais insister sur deux aspects. Le premier, alors vous avez beaucoup élaboré justement sur les questions de corruption, les cas que vous avez mis au jour dans votre rôle de journaliste ou en tout cas de soutien aux journalistes. Moi, je voudrais revenir justement sur cette fonction journalistique-là et sur le travail de révélation qui a été le vôtre, avec les conséquences dramatiques que l'on sait, l'assassinat de Daphne Caruana Galizia. Donc sur cet assassinat, justement, est-ce que aujourd'hui, alors moi j'ai entendu qu'il y avait des éléments supplémentaires qui avaient été portés à la connaissance du procureur, des liens potentiels entre des personnes soupçonnées et puis des responsables politiques. Maintenant, on a aussi un peu l'impression que l'enquête n'avance pas trop. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous en dire un peu plus sur l'état de cette enquête, où nous en sommes? Et puis le deuxième volet, c'est sur la question médiatique, justement le rôle des médias, avec à la fois vous connaissez l'attachement que nous pouvons avoir ici sur justement la reconnaissance du rôle des médias, du pluralisme des médias comme gage de la démocratie. Alors, c'est vrai que Malte est particulièrement pointé du doigt pour son manque de pluralisme, pour un lien fort entre le pouvoir et les médias. Aussi sur l'usage massif qui peut être fait des procédures bâillons pour dissuader la prise de parole à la fois par les journalistes mais aussi possiblement par leurs sources. Or, tout ça fait écho à des débats que nous avons aussi en ce moment dans les institutions européennes sur la protection des lanceurs d'alerte, qui ne sont pas uniquement des sources journalistiques, mais parmi lesquelles figurent les sources journalistiques. C'est vrai que le prisme qui est retenu, et particulièrement au Conseil, c'est de cantonner le rôle des lanceurs d'alerte à une sorte de, on va dire, d'auxiliaire de la qualité dans les entreprises. On sait bien, on voit bien, on a bien l'exemple avec toutes les révélations qui sont les vôtres, que le cœur de ce qui nous préoccupe quand on parle de lanceurs d'alerte, c'est ces sources journalistiques pour justement porter à la connaissance du public des scandales qui autrement resterait dissimulé et continuerait à perdurer. Quel regard justement vous portez sur la bataille qui est la nôtre pour savoir est-ce que on permet une divulgation au public via les journalistes évidemment, ou est-ce que dans le sens du Conseil on maintient cette hiérarchie stricte, parce que le Conseil voudrait vraiment donner un droit de regard aux autorités administratives sur la possibilité de poursuivre le processus vers une révélation publique. Je voudrais avoir votre sentiment là-dessus et comment est-ce que ces différentes options auraient conditionné votre travail en matière de révélation des scandales pour Malte. Merci.
So I think if I understood your question the second part of your question correctly, it's about collaboration between journalists, politicians and law enforcement, let's say, more or less. I mean, what we see currently, and this is the same point that Stephen emphasized in his text, is that sources go to journalists because they have no one else to go to. We, as Stephen said, we are the investigators of last resort. And what makes things worse is that we cannot do anything about it other than publishing. We can't prosecute, we can't charge, we can't arrest. But even when sources do go to law enforcement in member states, collaboration doesn't really work. So in the case of my mother's assassination, for example, which is, I think, the extreme example of how systems fail within the European Union, there is simply no one to go to. Even if you were a source who does go to a magistrate in Malta, and you literally take the person responsible to the police in handcuffs for them, absolutely nothing is going to happen. So what more can you do? You can't do anything else. The question, I think, that European politicians and state bodies across the EU have to answer now is, what do we do when things become like this? What do we do in this worst-case scenario, when systems collapse completely in a member state? Because the European Union, up till now, has been based on trust. It's like the United States in the 19th century, before the FBI was set up, when it was basically the Wild West and everyone did whatever they wanted. This is the state of the European Union now. You can't, it's very difficult to tackle cross-border crime. I think that it's time to start a discussion about, I mean, we called for a JIT now because that is the only thing that can be done currently under framework legislation. But looking further forward into the future, we need to prevent this very thing from happening in the first place. And I think the only way that can be done is with supranational collaborative policing within the European Union that has judicial authority. So not like Europol, which is a political body that basically functions like a call center. That does not work, which is why we are in this situation with our various political systems having been corrupted by Azerbaijan, with journalists being assassinated, and so on. We need to prevent this from happening, prevent things from reaching this state.
Just one very small point. I think there's got to be a middle position between the sort of journalistic inquiry, put everything out there, publish everything, and this hyper-secret, confidential FIU-style investigation, just forums to put matters on the record, like some of the hearings you have, where, particularly when it comes to people, public officials, where there's a less expectation of confidentiality, that, as I said at the beginning, it's not about always putting people in jail. It's not always saying there is a crime here. It's about what do we expect from our public officials, and finding a way so these scandals and allegations don't just sit broiling around for years, but actually can be dealt with, and the facts come out. And I think one of the terrible things about all these things happen is that there are allegations stacking up like planes above Heathrow that haven't yet landed because there's endless delays and reasons why the facts of each of these matters have not been brought successfully to conclusions.
Not only that, but because the justice system in Malta is completely opaque and the FIUs function as closed intelligence agencies, as Stephen said, very often, because of this opacity, we don't know that the process is being corrupted. We had no idea until Reuters published the result of their investigation a few months ago that the very same accountant being investigated for these crimes was working within the Justice Ministry as an employee while he was being investigated. The public had no idea that that was happening. It was only the result of a journalistic investigation. But of course, the magistrates knew, the minister knew, the police knew, the FIAU knew. None of us were allowed to discover this. It was only brought slowly into the public domain. Again, what do we do in this worst-case scenario? I think there needs to be a kind of fallback solution where when things have failed in this way, or when judicial systems within member states have been corrupted, there needs to be a supranational fallback that has its own judicial authority.